First of all, you have no idea if this woman is using you for a visa or your money. You're not going to be able to have fun banter with her. She might be more feminine, but she might not feel like your best friend. She might feel more like a maid service. Number two, you're definitely going to run into some cultural differences. Is she going to be willing to give up her family, her friends, her career just to come to the States for you? You guys are also going to run into the issue of where to live. Or are you willing to move there? Passport broing is a cop-out for something that can be easily solved.
Hello YouTube, it's your boy the Passport Bro Wingman coming at you again with another YouTube video. The title of the video is called Passport Bros is a Cop-Out which can be easily resolved. Dating overseas is boring. American women are more entertaining, says hater. Now, you saw the video at the beginning of this clip. There was a dating coach that's addressing the Passport Bros, and she had a lot of pushback on the Passport Bro movement. Number one, she said that a lot of the women, there's no fun banter, basically saying that they're boring, and American women are more entertaining. She also talked about that's pretty much a cop-out. A lot of the issues we have can be resolved here in the States or in the West. And she also talked about the fact that there's a living situation in which you don't know if you're going to live there, you're going to live here. Will her family accept you? Will you be able to bring her back to the States and so forth? And so I just wanted to address this very quick. I just want to make this a quick video. Shouldn't take that long because it's kind of a lot of the similar pushback that we received in the past. But first, let me address the fact that she's a dating coach. So you already should kind of know her angle on why she's kind of doing this. Although she's trying to appear that she's helping men in the West, you can obviously see that she has some type of incentive behind it in which she would like to get a lot of her female clients, you know, husbands and so forth. But because so many men are joining the Passport Bro movement and they're fleeing, she's having a very hard time finding husbands and boyfriends for a lot of her female clients. And unfortunately, what she's not really taking into account is the high standards to which a lot of her female clients have. As we all know, they all want the 6 feet tall, 6-pack, got to make 6 figures and so forth. When really a lot of women overseas, you know, whether it's in South America or it's in Southeast Asia, a lot of women there, as long as you're a decent guy, you got stable income, you got a good heart, you're loving and caring, a lot of those women will cook and clean for you. They'll submit to you. They'll get on your programming. So it's almost like what's the word? It's not even a fair comparison between, you know, overseas dating or, you know, dating foreign women versus dating American women. So she has no idea the uphill battle she'll have trying to convince, you know, us Passport Bros that we need to stop dating overseas, but instead stay here in the West. So to address, you know, some of her points, her first point was trying to say that there's no fun banter. Basically, what she's trying to say is that they don't have any personality. They just do whatever we say to do. She's saying it feels more like a maid service. In other words, they're just cooking and cleaning for us. They do whatever we say, and they go, and that's pretty much it. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. A lot of men in the States or in the West, we work very long hours, very hard shifts. And who, after working a hard day, wants to come home to a mouthy woman? No man wants to deal with that. All we want to do is find some peace and quiet and just have a loving, supportive, warm home. And many times, as a woman would just do that, they have no idea how many sacrifices we would make for women, how many extra shifts we pick up, how much additional work we do just to keep a woman happy if she was just more supportive and she did a lot of the nurturing and traditional things that a lot of men kind of expect out of their women. But she's not looking at this because you can obviously tell she's some type of boss babe type woman who is for, you know, kind of detests, you know, being feminine and kind of look at that as like a weak point and that kind of thing. So a lot of them, because they've been raised in this culture, they just have a hard time comprehending that man, we don't want somebody who's constantly trying to compete with us. We just want a quiet house we can come home to, you know. So you have that. So we don't care about you cracking jokes and having deep conversation, you know, having these intellectual conversations with us. We don't necessarily need that. Not to say that, because here's my thing. Whenever I go overseas, like for example, when I go down to South America, you'd be surprised. A lot of smart, like they seem to forget that they have female doctors down there. You got female lawyers. You got a lot of bright, women in these other countries. I believe, for example, in Russia, you got a lot of, Russian women, Ukrainian women that are like scientists and so forth, and they have very deep, they have deep intellectual conversations with you. They can really have good conversations, even though a lot of times I'm often not really, depending on what I'm in the mood for, put it this way, I just want someone who I can have a good connection with, and for the most part, a lot of the women who are foreign, they tend to have more substance. The women here, how can I explain it? It's not a lot of substance. A lot of times, a lot of shallowness going on. They generally, in my opinion, a lot of women in the West generally don't like a lot of deep conversation to begin with. I don't know where she's getting that from, but I think that foreign women tend to be more family oriented, and they tend to have a little bit more substance and look at things a little bit different. And they have to, because you got to understand, there's not a lot of money in these other countries. So a lot of times when we don't have a lot of money, you tend to focus in more on the things that really matter, like family, community, your country, and that kind of thing. So they tend to have, in my opinion, a little bit more substance to their speech and conversation. So I think she's completely wrong on that. Next, she addressed the whole situation about it being, easily solved. We've done this before. The whole conversation of, coming back to the table, we've, tried many times. I mean, in my opinion, it's not, like Kevin Samuels said, it's not on the men's side. It's really on the women's side. It's whenever they're going to get over this whole boss babe movement and really focus in on being competitive to all the other women in other countries. When they finally do that, then maybe things will change. But right now, with them feeling like they're equal to men and they should be running a household, all you got to do is look at the single parent households where mostly women are leading and just look at the destruction it's causing. It just doesn't work. Yeah, I mean, and most men, especially Pals and Bros, we're not really looking for a partner. I'm not looking for to marry one of my buddies. I'm looking for a traditional woman who enjoys being feminine, enjoys her female role, so we can raise a big family together. That's generally what we're looking for. And the last thing she said, which is kind of it's kind of a weak talking point, but she pretty much said, how will you work out the situation with knowing where to live? I think that's really the least of the worries. As we said before, a lot of guys now, we always say if you can get a remote job, it's perfect for you. Because number one, you be making more money and you can live overseas with your girlfriend or your wife. You can stay there. You can raise a family there, and you have American dollars. Or to the people, to my listeners that live in the UK, you have your British pound, you have your Western currencies, which pretty much going to let you live like a king. So it kind of works out better if you stay there. So in my opinion, even better if you stay there. But if you can't, such in my case, I have a lot of family in the States. I can't 100% just leave. I have like a lot of family stuff I look after. So eventually at some point, I'm going to bring my my girl back to the States at some point, even though we don't know. The rule is generally you try to keep them there. So that's that thing. But nevertheless, I do understand she's saying that when rubber meets the road, a lot of the women, they might not necessarily want to leave their family and friends behind. And there is some truth to that, in which, when you look at things like 90 Day Fiancé and so forth, it is a big sacrifice for you to leave your culture behind and come to another country. But keep in mind that a lot of times, you see the border, you see people fleeing their countries and coming here because they know that the quality of life in the West a lot of times, is really, really, good in comparison. There's some countries and parts of the country where there's no electricity, not a lot of running water and so forth. So a lot of them would love to come to the West. Not to mention that once they come to the West, it's not like their family has to stay there. You have the chain migration. Once they come there to the States, they become neutralized, they become a citizen. They could bring like their mothers or fathers and so forth. And again, what she fails to realize, you can always visit. I mean, that's just like, I'm currently now in Florida, but I have family members all across different states. I just, you feel, you want to be family members. I take my trip, my flight, go visit them and so forth. So here it's pretty much the same thing. And actually, it'll probably be even better because now with your girl coming back to the state, she can work, she can make her own money, and then when she flies back to visit her family, she can take care of her family. So all the burden isn't necessarily just on you to take care of her, and sometimes, there's a lot of pressure from her family for her to still, take care of the family, even though she's not there. So it may be more pressure on you to kind of help out and that kind of thing. But in this case, since she can work in the States, she can take care of her family, and it's relieves a lot of pressure off you. So that's that. I mean, that's really the least of the worries. But again, this is, in my opinion, overall, she's just doing this because, as we know, with the Passport Bro movement growing and growing, there's less simps. There's less there's less cleanup men in the States, which means there's less men that when these women finally, something clicks in them and they finally realize that they have no more suitors and their biological clock is ticking, and they have to, they say, oh, suddenly, they suddenly want to settle down. There's no men there because all the men got their passport and they left. So that's what a lot of her clients are frustrated about. Like, basically what she's saying and her clients are saying is, where are all the good men? Where, like, as you see all these singles events, mostly are like women now in the States and in the West, because a lot of the cleanup men that will be there, they're no longer playing a cleanup man role anymore. We're pretty much done with that. It's either you're going to get on our programs or we're going to get our passport and we're going to go find us a traditional woman who wants to settle down and cook it clean for us and take care of us as a king, as we all would, like, and we'll do our best as well, to take care of the woman, and, treat her like a queen, treat her like, we'll give her more treatment, some of the best treatment, in many cases, better treatment than a lot of the men in their countries can actually provide for them because of their situations there. But I don't know. What do you guys think about this whole situation with her saying that, foreign women are boring, American women are more entertaining? Do you think she has any good points? What do you think about what she has to say? And to all my ghost listeners, please subscribe to my channel. Please hit the thumbs up, hit the notification bell. Leave comments and let me guys know what you think. And until next time, this is your boy, the Passport Bro Wingman, signing off.
Dear Passport Boys, dear Passport Bros, stop calling yourself Passport Boys and Passport Bros. Are you going to the Philippines to look for a Filipina queen or what? So stop calling yourself Passport Boys and Passport Bros. Start calling yourself Passport Kings.